George Soros funding the No Kings protest. Well, we recently got a document showing all of the different NGOs, all of the funding they received, and many people are saying it is prominent Democrats and liberals that are funding an inorganic protest. But I tell you what, well, Democrats are claiming it was 7 million people. We actually did a small assessment based on photos, videos. I don't think it was anywhere near 7 million, but I got no problem being wrong. I just think liberals are lying about the size of this protest. Now, they've come out and said this is the largest protest in U.S. history. It's not. There was some environmental protest, I guess, in the 70s with 20 million people estimated to come out and say we want a clean planet. And this protest, I think, I'd put the estimate around 1 million, I guess. Taking a look at these photos and videos where everyone's saying, look how big this crowd is, there's millions, and comparing it to the events that I've been at, notably the May Day protest 2012 in New York City, which stretched miles down Broadway. That was only 30,000 people. So we see these photos, we see these videos, and Democrats are dramatically overestimating, in my opinion, the size of these protests. But the question is, what was it all about? Who was funding it? And is it really George Soros? Well, the Trump administration says they are going to be investigating these No Kings protests. Many people are facing serious federal charges, notably a man who was telling people to buy guns to kill ICE. The scary thing, that statement was only a slight degree worse than what Don Lemon said. Now, Don Lemon, for those that don't know, he had come out last week or a couple weeks ago and said that people should take up guns in the event that ICE comes to black bag you. I'm paraphrasing. What he said was, if you're a black or brown American and people are removing you from your homes without due process or kidnapping you or whatever, that's what the Second Amendment is for. Well, the issue is that's technically not correct. The argument would be, if a strange criminal man is breaking into your house to kill you or kidnap you, you defend yourself. But he's insinuating duly sworn law enforcement officers enforcing the law for which we, the American people, have elected a president to enforce. He's saying that is kidnapping. And that's how insane things are getting. But let's take a look at these funding sources and where we're currently at. Now, we have this story from Newsweek. President Trump said his administration is probing whether the billionaire philanthropist George Soros and other radical left lunatics helped to fund the No Kings protests on Saturday. Through his foundation, Soros has heavily funded progressive causes across the world, including the U.S., and become a bête noire of the conservative, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, right. Trump has also recently designated the far-left Antifa movement as a terrorist organization. I guess the protest was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics, Trump told reporters on board Air Force One as he traveled back to Washington, D.C. from Florida on Sunday night. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. We have the clip here. Let's roll tape.
Over the weekend, the No Kings protests.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country. And I looked at all the brand new signs paid for, I guess it was paid for by Soros and other radical left lunatics. It looks like it was. We're checking it out. The demonstrations were very small, very ineffective, and the people were whacked out. When you look at those people, those are not representative of the people of our country.
Mr. President, besides San Francisco...
By the way, I'm not a king. I'm not
Trump is wrong. He is completely and totally wrong. Please, liberals, clip this. Donald Trump is wrong. The No Kings protests were the most effective protest we have seen in generations. Pause for dramatic effect. Because now we have no kings. Wow. You know, I was worried for a minute, but then these people went out to the streets protesting, and I said, someone please help prevent a king from taking over. They marched. They threatened violence, and then we didn't have a king. So it worked. Congratulations. What a heck of a protest. Now, in all seriousness, my friends, we know the intention of the protest is to create public perception. The reason why they want these photos, the reason why they're claiming 7 million, which is a lie, is because they want people to believe they have the moral majority. They want you to fear that if you oppose them, they will destroy you. You see, Donald Trump won the popular vote. Crazy, right? They didn't like that very much. So then they, of course, start claiming that, you know, oh, it's because Biden had to drop out. If only Kamala had more time. And they're saying, well, he may have won, but his polls have dropped immediately they started making memes, Fell For It Again award, where they're posting people wearing. Now, here's the thing. You may be saying, let me pull this up for you guys. Fell For It Again award. This is the meme being shared by left. I got to admit, it's one of the first memes the left has that actually ain't bad. And I'll just show you all of them. The left struggles with memes, to be completely honest. So you have all these different, here's what it is, Fell For It Again award, and then you've got like a guy in a MAGA hat with a whole bunch of them, and he looks sad. This is actually one of the most effective memeing that I've seen the Democrats do. However, you may be saying to yourself, but I don't understand. Fell For It Again. I'm extremely happy with what Donald Trump is doing. Indeed. You take a look at the deportations. We've got the latest report. Something like 500,000 illegal immigrants have been deported so far or more. You take a look at Donald Trump's tariff policy, his border policy, his going after the narco gangs, his peace agreements, the deals that he's been working on in the Middle East, whether you like the Israel or Gaza situation. Regardless, there are a lot of people that are saying, I love what Donald Trump is doing. But the Democrats put out this meme saying Fell For It Again. And Trump supporters are like, huh? What do you mean? We got everything we wanted. Except the Epstein files. Fair point. Because the point of the meme is for liberals, not for you. They're not arguing to you to make fun of you, to make you angry. That is not the intent. Now, some of you may get angry when you see it. You're like, I didn't fall for it again. No, they're not making this meme for you. They're making it for each other, to justify why they are correct. Donald Trump won the popular vote. Ha! That must mean you fell for it again. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here being like, look at all the people he's deporting. Fantastic. The actions that Donald Trump has taken largely have been good. I'm a big fan of the tariffs. Big fan. Trump, spot on. And it's funny because with these tariffs and these policies, I see a lot of people, even libertarians, saying, got what I wanted again award back at liberals. But understand, you don't need to convince a Trump supporter that they didn't fall for it, because Trump supporters don't understand what fell for it again meant. The point is, since Trump won the popular vote, Democrats are in a weakened position morally. We see the Bud Light effect. We see Target. We see these companies, Disney, seeing a backlash to woke garbage, and they're starting to abandon it. NBC, I think it was NBC, got rid of their like DEI division or whatever it is they were doing, because they realized, hey, people don't like this. We're losing money. Democrats need to assess. However, they're not. What they're doing instead is getting more and more violent. So with these protests, the purpose of the funding of these protests, which I have some images to show you, the purpose of it is to create the perception they are the majority, because then regular people will fall in line. They're hoping that you, good sir, at your accounting firm in your big New York office who hate liberals, get scared again. And you think to yourself, I better not speak out. I was talking to my wife about the calamity, the chaos, the violence, and it's getting serious. And you know it is. And we talked about it a lot last night as to how we address this, deal with this. And it is increasingly difficult. The security factor, the point is, for those that missed the segment, a man driving through North Carolina stopped at a Trump supporter's house and tried to murder him for no reason. He was just that angry. And this is Radio Rwanda level stuff, where it's just people become so incensed and angry at symbols, they decide to murder each other. We are getting to and the Israel stuff too. It's like people are just genuinely, like, their brains are made of jello. They're going insane. It's funny because people called me far right. Now I'm being called a Jew. And I'm like, I don't even know what this means. Either of them. But people are going nuts. Now the left, they revel in it. Because if they can't have the power, best to burn it all down. But these are the conversations. I forgot where I was going with that. I was talking to my wife about a handful of things. I forgot what the main point I was going to make was, but we were talking about moral majority. We were talking about perception. And one of the things that we did talk about, Democrats need people to believe that they are the superior moral force so that they don't speak out against them. Oh, I remember. I told her we have to win. We have to win. And this is for all of you as well. We have to win. There is no hiding. You know, in this conversation around security and how we persist in the face of extreme threats, death threats, and actual violence, I said there is nowhere you can go that will be safe. It is a pipe dream at this point because we are watching degradation. I am not responsible for what's happening in Portland, California, Illinois. That is nothing done by me. This is the state of the world. If the left wins, they'll come to your house. They'll knock on your door. They'll say, hang the Pride Progress flag. And when you say, no, I don't want to do that, they'll bring you to the gulag. I'm being somewhat facetious, but if the commie far left psychopaths win, that's your reality. You know what's really scary? Do you guys want to know what happens if the right wins? If the conservatives win? You're going to have Christmas morning. You're going to wake up and run to the living room where the Christmas tree is, and there's snow falling all around, and the candles are lit, and the kids open their Christmas presents, and you sit there and smile with a warm cup of coffee or cocoa if you're not into the caffeine. I am somewhat joking. For the most part, if the right wins, you're going to have better working conditions. You're going to have factories coming back to the United States, better jobs, better pay, less wealth disparity, all of those things the left claims to want. If the left wins, you're going to have just, to be honest, if you live in any major city, you know what you get when the left wins. And if you speak out, they'll take your job from you because diversity is their strength. Diversity is their strength. When they strip you of community so that you can't organize against them, that's what they're talking about. Now let's back to the story. Back to the story. We have this from MJ Truth Ultra. Whoopi Goldberg. Nobody got paid to protest. Let's play this clip.
Okay. So despite his claim that he doesn't want to be king, he also posted an AI video wearing a crown and dumping feces on protesters.
Okay, I just got to pause. She said, despite his claim he doesn't want to be king, he posted a meme. Lady, I don't want to be king. I post memes. I was talking to Michael Malice, and who was it who asked me this? I was on Brennan Schaub and Brian Callen's podcast. You know, they asked me what I would do if I was emperor, and they asked the question like, policy changes. I said, none. I wouldn't do anything. Like, really? I was like, because you think you're correct about everything, and all you're doing is fiddling with knobs, and you don't know what it's going to affect. I'm not smart enough to be an emperor or a king. Everyone thinks they are, perhaps, but not I. And I was talking to Malice, and he said, that's the famous quote. It was, I think Mises said this. What would you do if you were emperor? And he said, abdicate. And I completely agree. That doesn't mean I want to be king, lady.
A lot of Republicans claim that these are paid protesters and not real Americans
Some of them
exercising their rights to free speech and peaceful assembly. 7 million people.
They just made that number up. I want to stress this. There is no official tracking. They just made that number up. They said, 20 million sounds too crazy, right? It's got to sound reasonable. Let's pick 7 million. Looking at the photos, overheads of many of these protests in large cities, and because I was there during Occupy, and I know the assessments that were given. Occupy Wall Street's estimates nationwide, 300,000 people. I kid you not. New York was a couple thousand. Nationwide Occupy for over a month was estimated around 300,000 people. There may have been upwards of 1 million in ancillary events, meaning some people showed up and then left. But of the actual protests, that's it across the country. We thought that was a big number. Anyway.
Nobody paid anybody.
Wrong.
I mean, the only people getting paid are the people who are in government right now because the government's shut down.
Well,
they're
Congress,
the only ones who are
Congress
getting money.
She's wrong. It's not true. So this image, I'm going to have to zoom in on this one, is going viral. I don't know if it's exactly. It says no King's partners, and it says Arabella, Buffett, Ford, Rockefeller, Soros, Tides, and Total. And so what this list is showing is these organizing forces for the No Kings, like Common Cause, and how much they received. So their total receipts, $3.3 million. Now hold on there a gosh darn minute. Feminist Majority Foundation, $1 million. We've got Florida Rising Together, $15 million. These appear to be, in total, I'm assuming it's for the year. I don't believe this is for specific protests, and it does not mean these people were paid. But as a subject matter expert, my friends, allow me to explain it to you, Whoopi Goldberg, and to many of you who already know this, I've explained it before. The way it works is these people are paid. There are staff members at these nonprofits. They are paid to help organize protests. This may be, I don't know, you could estimate 5%, 10% of the people you see on the ground. They're not paying 600,000 people to march. And don't get me wrong, 650,000 is massive. It's double Occupy. And that's the actual real estimate, in my opinion. 7 million is a made up number because, but there's not 7 million people marching through the streets. It's ridiculous. Okay. What is it? Just an absurd number. What are they trying to claim? We got about 2% of the country, some odd. No, what happens is the people who organize the events and tell people where to stand and create the flyers and the signs, they get salaries. So, yes, there are people being paid to protest. We call this the yellow zone. There's the red, the yellow, the green. You've heard us talk about it. This is how they color coordinate in these direct action meetings. I don't know if they still do. It's been 10 plus. It's been, how long? It's more than 10 years since I've been to these meetings. Actually, no. I was at some of these meetings in 2014 as well. So what they do is they have 3 categories of protester. And you've got red, which is Antifa, violent, and they're few and far between. Yellow, which are the facilitators, they call themselves. And then the green, which is the unpaid random people who show up and join the masses. Without the green, there's no chance for the red. You see the red is very active in places like Portland, where even without cover of crowds, they get violent because they're able to get away with it. The yellow facilitators create these events. Many of them are paid. They'll make flyers. These are the leaders, really, of Antifa. And they tell people where to stand. And it has to exist. You cannot wrangle cats. It's just not going to happen. There has to be an organizing force so that people know where to stand. That is the facilitators. These are the people who are paid. I would estimate they probably make up 10% from what I've seen, or less, honestly, because you don't need that many. During Occupy Wall Street, maybe 10% of the active protesters were part of these facilitator groups. Not all of them were paid, but the principal actors were, or other kids were just wealthy trust fund kids. They organize and coordinate, lie, cheat, and steal, and trick people into coming down, and sometimes get real people to come down, don't get me wrong. Like at Occupy Wall Street, they claimed Radiohead was going to be playing and tricked some 2,000 people into showing up to the park so they can have a leftist, Marxist meeting or whatever, and it was creepy. Everybody who came was too embarrassed to say they didn't care about Occupy. So I actually was there. I was filming. I was asking people. We knew the Radiohead story was a lie. They intentionally spread the rumor to trick people into showing up, and they did. Then when they got there, they said, I know many of you are here for Radiohead, but before we get started, we're going to do a General Assembly meeting and teach you how we do these meetings and our hand signs. I asked maybe 4 or 5 people, are you here for Occupy Wall Street? No, I'm just here for Radiohead. And then when I said, Radiohead's not coming, they were like, well, I care about the cause, because they were too scared to be like, I don't give a about any of you. They didn't care. That's the manipulation the left needs, the appearance of mass. The reason why they tricked people into coming to Occupy, claiming Radiohead was coming, was so they can get photos and videos of this massive crowd. And let me see if I can find that, actually. Radiohead at Occupy Wall Street. And let's see if there's photos of it. Yup. Holy crap. No. We want to open this in new tab. It won't let me do it. How do we do it? Here we go. Yeah, they called it a hoax. Look at this image. Look at these photos, man. This is what they were hoping for. They told everybody Radiohead was coming. It was a hoax. They did it so they could get a picture like this, put it in the history books and say, this was Occupy Wall Street. It wasn't. But that was the trick. And who did it? People who were facilitators, who were paid organizers for various nonprofits. I can tell you this definitively. I met a guy. He worked for a local nonprofit. He was paid a salary, and he was told by his nonprofit to go and organize at Occupy Wall Street. Now, he's not a paid protester. He would say, I'm not being paid to be here. And I said, you're getting a salary from a nonprofit that's letting you be here. He's like, they just gave me time off. BS. The name of the game is you are paid to organize around this cause. We're a nonprofit. We receive donations. We can do whatever we want towards that mission. Occupy organizing is toward that mission. Hey, why don't you take the day off and go check out Occupy? That's the name of the game. And that's who's running the show. The No Kings protesters got people to show up. Don't get me wrong. And a lot of people. But again, this is the trick. From Gothamist, October 1st, 2011. Occupy Wall Street sorry for being victim of Radiohead hoax. What do you mean? They're sorry for being the victim of a hoax. They were the victim of a hoax? That's funny, isn't it? Let's see if I can read. They want me to. Okay, let's see if I can. I'll put in my email real quick. Don't want to. Let's see if we can read this. Read this story. I bet it won't let me read it. Start reading. Okay, there we go. We can read it. You just got to put in your email. All right. Here's the story. Yesterday afternoon, mind you, this 2011, thousands of people participated in the exhilarating existential exercise waiting for Radiohead, Hipster, Great Pumpkin at Zuccotti Park, the site of Occupy Wall Street. Some Occupy Wall Street reporters held signs saying, if you were only here for the band, go home. One protester, Jimmy Holivet, said, if people only come here to see Radiohead, at least they get to come here and see what's going on. Earlier in the day yesterday, a rumor that Radiohead would perform for Occupy protesters emerged, was later confirmed by protest organizers, sending the group's fans into paroxysms, hold on, I just zoomed in, of excitement. The band's management issued a denial, but organizers continued to say it was happening. I can tell you this, I was there. Everybody knew it was a hoax. I was talking to people who were involved, and they're like, yeah, they're not coming. But if people show up, and I'm just like, man, these people are evil. Upwards of 3,000 occupiers walked in silence to what they thought was One Police Plaza, but it was actually the municipal building, a few blocks from One Police Plaza. Upon entering, they began to chant, we are the 99%. They tricked, look at this. This is what they do. Here's a video. Hear that? The goal of the lie was to create this image. People who showed up and didn't know what was going on, many of them stuck around and they had their General Assembly meeting. Ain't that something? They lied. They knew they lied. This is the game they play. So, my friends, when they tell you that there are paid protesters, understand the nuance. There's a lot of people who think everybody marching around is getting paid. And when I was there, people were going, Fox claims we're being paid by George Soros. I wish I got a Soros check. That's what everyone was saying. Because they don't understand, as the green category, you're the useful idiot. The facilitators are getting their funding through their NGOs, and their NGOs is getting paid. They's getting paid, and they getting paid well for political purposes. Now, with the shuttering of USAID and other slush funds, this may be near the end. We'll see. I'm going to leave it there, my friends. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Join our Discord server at timcast.com. You must. If you made it this far, you are the chosen few. The people who actually watch and listen to the full show, go to timcast.com, click join us, because I will tell you this. We have to win. We have to win. There is no running. There is no hiding. If the left takes over, they will come to your door. They will make you fly the flags. We've already seen them try. In Portland, a couple of years ago, they went to a man's house for having an American flag and threatened to burn his home down unless he removed it. There's no hiding. We have to win, and we've been winning. But community is the most important thing. Why? They say diversity is our strength. And conservatives hear that and they think, well, that's a weird thing to say. No, it's not. It's not our strength. But you're correct. It's not our. It means their strength. We are not the same as them. Diversity breaks community. It makes it hard for us to organize. Unity is our strength. Join the Timcast Discord server. Tens of thousands of people. There's morning shows, after shows, conversations, meetups. And as a member, you are forming a bond which will create unity and real strength to counteract the manipulative authoritarians. Thank you guys for everything. Stick around. More to come, and we'll see you all in the next segment.